On this episode of the Subtle Foodie Podcast, we will have Miss Andrea Williams here, health expert and fitness guru, to help shame us into doing a little bit better. Actually, just doing better. Not going to shame us.
Even a little is good.
I don't think so. And I'll be here with Frank Lee. Frank, how are you?
Very good, Anthony. Glad to be back here again. And I want to mention our sponsors, Fajita Pizza on Gosling, opening a new location soon in Conroe, as well as Euro World Motorsports, your source for all the good things for your sports car.
All the good things.
All the good things.
So join us this episode of the Subtle Foodie Podcast. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Subtle Foodie Podcast. This is episode number 5, I think we're on. Hi Frank, how are you?
Good, Anthony. Thanks for having me back again.
Good to have you back on this winter storm day that we're here.
Winter storm, you say?
Winter storm.
I thought it was just cold.
Ice-pocalypse. Ice-pocalypse with no ice on the ground.
Ice-pocalypse 22.
Although my daughter did leave a cup outside last night and it did freeze, so, you know. We got a little bit of that going for us.
A little bit
At
of
least the air conditioners aren't on right now.
Science experiment.
Yeah, science experiment. So, welcome. We're here with Miss Andrea Williams. How are you?
I am great. Thanks for having me today.
Well, welcome to be here. You and I have known each other for quite a long time, but you are here, she's here, because Andrea is a health and fitness expert, and Frank and I are two terrible foodies. So, Andrea's going to be here to set us straight, balance us out. And I will say that Andrea has also been a Taste Bud co-host.
I have been.
As well at several unhealthy places. If it's an unhealthy place, I will draft her into coming.
You pull me to unhealthy places. You make me come outside when it's like below 30 degrees. I feel, I don't know.
I mean, but how good were those shakes from Luliat?
They were pretty damn good.
They were pretty damn good.
Do they serve them in 20-degree weather just to make you earn it?
I would bet they do.
I bet they're open right now.
Yes. I think we should go afterwards.
I think we should go afterwards. I did go to the bagel place this morning, Forget About Bagels, for their new sandwich. I did not bring any, but then again, Andrea made some English muffins homemade last night and did not bring any either.
I did. I made homemade English muffins for the first time, 15 of them, and they look fantastic.
Do they taste fantastic?
I have no clue.
So
I'll let you know.
You eat with your eyes first.
I will let you know. Right? They look amazing.
Eat with your eyes first.
Now, so are you really into the home baking?
I am. I am. I got into sourdough before sourdough was cool. Ah. And then I bake a lot of breads and unhealthy things and give it all away. And you just had your
kitchen redone too.
Yeah.
Right?
So I've got a great space to work from, which is really nice. I've got the big KitchenAid mixer and all the,
When is your TikTok coming out?
I don't do TikTok.
With cooking videos?
I do a lot of cooking videos on Instagram.
Oh, there you go.
I don't do TikTok. I'm not that cool.
Not that cool?
No, I'm too old.
Rachel, my wife, says, oh yeah, you're scrolling TikTok all the time. I don't know how to do anything on TikTok. All I know is just how to just do this. You just keep going up.
I don't even know that.
The algorithm just finds me all the cooking videos, which is, great. So, I just learned how to cook.
I don't even have TikTok, but my Instagram feed is filled with TikTok videos. So apparently there's some kind of transference going on.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, you could have reels.
Yeah.
For Instagram, you could have TikTok videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of them just posted the same thing all the time. We have to have Melissa back on to talk about that.
Yes, our social media expert.
Our social media expert, yeah.
Well, as a quick question then, I know that when it comes to eating healthy, most people equate eating healthy with yucky food.
Right.
And you can fix that.
Totally.
I've had a lot of yucky, healthy food.
Yeah. I can't stand bland, boring food. Like people that eat, I'm having steamed fish and broccoli. Well,
yeah.
That's no
Nobody
fun.
likes steamed fish.
Just put some Mrs. Dash on it. It'd be fine.
And that too, right? Have you ever tried chopping up some garlic? Might help.
Well, before we get on to that, Frank, who are our sponsors today?
Our sponsors today are Fajita Pizza on Gosling. And they're also opening a new location soon in Conroe.
That's right, this week.
And Euro World Motorsports in Tomball, where we're here to meet all your sports car needs.
And I will say, if you're watching this on YouTube, we are getting a whole lot more followers.
Yes.
In fact, I think we crossed the 1,000 subscriber threshold.
Really?
Might have. If not, we're very close. So if you are there, like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell, all that kind of stuff. A lot of there's 4 videos up. This will be the 5th video up, so it's getting there. So
this is surely.
And we're always looking for sponsors too.
Oh, we should probably start doing that.
We should probably start doing
actually pursuing actual sponsors.
Yes, if you're interested in being a sponsor, please contact us. Yeah. So Andrea, so your Instagram. I feel like a teacher.
I feel like I'm on trial.
You are a little bit. We're gonna put ourselves. Frank and I are gonna put ourselves on trial here.
All right,
for our less than optimal health habits.
Well, this will be the year we fix that.
We're gonna start somewhere else.
Okay.
What's your favorite restaurant right now?
Does it have to be local?
Ooh. Well, wait a second. So I'm going to caveat this by saying I think Andrea's getting ready to move to Fredericksburg. And so every post that she has is about wine in Fredericksburg.
What?
That's true.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to say it's got to at least be in the Woodlands or Houston.
Okay. So I will say this is hard. I don't want to throw friends under the bus. So if friends are watching this, you know who you are. So for now, I just recently went to the Refuge Steakhouse and Bourbon Bar. I hadn't been there in quite a while, and I really, really like what they've got going on over there.
The one by the mall or the one in Creekside?
The one in Creekside.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it.
Mark has done a very good job there, I think.
Mark
and it's very under the radar.
Mark who?
At Refuge, sorry.
Take a moment to talk about him. Because a lot of people don't know who Mark is.
Yeah, sorry. So he's the owner/manager at Refuge. And they've got a space over in near the mall,
right.
On the Waterway, and then they've also got a space now in Creekside where they've got the Bourbon Bar as well.
Very nice.
It's actually a very nice space. It's a little hidden. It's very under the radar.
Yeah, you kind of have to know it's there.
You kind of have to know it's there, and it's good. It's very good.
It's very good, and I think I'll start with ambiance is fantastic. Yeah. The Bourbon Bar is stellar, probably one of the best in all of Houston.
The Bourbon Bar is very good.
So
it's a neat space and lots of really good stuff. Yeah.
The food, though, I mean, they're doing a good job. It's not, of course, high-end dining, Michelin star, but it's comfort food, I would say, and a good value. Price point is great.
And it's executed well.
Very well.
I think so.
And I had great service.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So it was a really just very enjoyable evening.
And I know what you're saying about offending friends, because we all have.
Yes, we all have friends.
We all have friends and stuff. But I think for people like us, it's what's your favorite restaurant right now.
Right now.
Exactly.
And a lot of times it's one of the recent places you've been to, because you're not going to Jack in the Box. You're being selective about where you're going.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure. So I will ask, what's your favorite place in Fredericksburg?
So my favorite place in Fredericksburg is a little place called Vaudeville. They have a bistro during the day, etc., but they do this thing called Supper Club, and it's usually just twice a year, and it's all a prix menu, and it's totally Michelin star quality, and I'm surprised that more people don't know about it. Anyway, if you get a chance, get on their email list. They send out invites. It's very limited seating, and it only runs for a few weeks, and it's crazy.
So I got to say something weird about supper clubs. Okay. That's a concept that is like the supper club concept is a gone concept in most parts of the country.
It's from the 20s and 30s.
Yeah. Right. And so I was traveling for my regular job to Butte, Montana, of all places.
Okay.
Which is a tiny town of like 20,000 people, 30,000 people, but it was a giant. All of the copper during the electrification of the United States came out of Butte, Montana.
So that was a boom town.
It was a boom town. William Clark, who was one of the key landowners of the mines in Butte, Montana, is Clark County in Vegas. That's what it's So, there was a ton of money that was coming out of this place. It was the richest town. They said it was the richest town in the country at one point because of all the copper in the mines, whatever. But they still have supper clubs. And the concept of a supper club was, if you think like Dean Martin, red leather booths, and kind of quiet lighting or low lighting and quiet music, and but you would order something like a steak, and it would come with a salad and a potato and a side and a dessert and a this and a that and all these different things. That was the whole, but it was one price. That was the whole supper club concept, and I got used to eating there like that.
Oh my goodness!
And it was
spoiled.
It was fantastic, but it brought you back to this time that was so different and so kind of a little speakeasy-ish, and In fact, one of the places called Lydia's was Anthony Bourdain went there.
Of course.
And it was because it was this cool supper club. Again, middle of nowhere, Montana.
That's cool.
But
That's
it was
cool.
really
Find.
cool. Yeah. So I love places that are like that.
Yeah, me too. And it's a different kind of dining too than
it's
everybody's used to today, I think.
Yeah.
So special.
Well, so Fredericksburg.
Yeah.
Good food.
Yes.
I know Fredericksburg is kind of trendy and up and coming, and the next kind of hot spot for a lot of things, I think.
Yeah, it's mostly the wine industry. I wouldn't say so much. They have a lot of work to do with the food, but to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I think their biggest problem right now is staffing issues.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
And we've touched on that with a number of people. Is just staffing is just
everywhere.
So difficult.
Yeah, it's really hard in that industry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the common theme among every food industry person we've dealt with.
Yeah.
Since we've been doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough.
Because are we considering ourselves in a post-pandemic world these days, or post-COVID? I mean, I feel like we were never really hit that hard by it here in Texas.
I mean, I think surprisingly we got pretty lucky, at least in Houston.
Right.
But I don't know if we're really in a post-pandemic world, but I think it's definitely on a downswing here.
I think we're definitely endemic.
Yeah,
that's
right.
I think we're endemic now.
It's just it's going to be out
here.
there.
Yeah,
you deal
here,
with it,
and you deal with it. Yeah, the best you can.
Yeah. So because we're talking about health, let's talk about health.
Oh boy.
So first of all, for those who don't know, give us a background and on you and how you got into all
I'll make it really quick.
Quick.
I've been in the fitness industry for 20 some odd years. Yes, I'm super old. But I kind of shifted away from the fitness aspect after I got into competitions. So I did figure competitions and had to learn a lot about diet, nutrition. And I got to the point where I was very bored with what I was eating, and I had to find ways to manipulate numbers and make food interesting and fun. So that's where I really shifted my focus to nutrition, and that is my passion right now. And I've got a fitness, and nutrition certification, but that's all based on USDA stuff. So I'm like, meh. I'd rather just
the food pyramid.
Yeah, the food pyramid. I'm not with it. So I deviate from that a lot. But that's kind of how I shifted into this nutrition aspect.
Yeah, and so you post stuff on Instagram. I know you do videos.
Yeah, I do videos
and all sorts of stuff.
I cook.
And I definitely watch your videos, like your exercise videos and routines and stuff like that while I'm eating.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, it's
entertainment.
It's entertainment.
Sure.
Yeah.
Definitely not something you're going to incorporate on a daily basis.
Yes.
Right?
Well, not me personally, yes,
Right.
but I should be. Most people should be, and I am currently in a state where I don't want to be, but last time I got there, I actually did a lot of research and tried to understand some stuff myself, and I've always been a firm believer, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Exercise and food and a function of gaining or losing weight is a simple formula of calories in versus calories out. And there can be things around that.
Yes.
But the simple equation is you could, not sustainably, but you could eat your required calories in Twinkies or vegetables. And if you burn more calories than you eat, technically, the energy equation is that you would lose something. Now, that being said, that's a very overly simplistic view of looking at that.
Right.
But eating your calories in Twinkies is 2 Twinkies, where your calories in vegetables with their nutrition content and everything else that goes along with
impact on blood sugar,
impact on all sorts of things is notwithstanding all that. But I've always been I actually lost 70 pounds from watching what I ate and walking, and it was a calories and it was a calorie counting thing. Now, I made a whole bunch of changes. I cut out fried food, I cut out fast food, but I didn't deny myself something.
Right.
If I had a weird craving for something, I would eat it, I would track it. So I had an awareness, but it also brought me to this level of awareness.
Yes.
That I think most people don't have. I think most people don't really understand. It took me a long time to understand how many calories are in a Big Mac,
Right.
Yeah.
versus how many calories are in a fucking head of lettuce.
Sure.
Well, how many times have you hear a personal trainer tell you, first step is I'm not even going to tell you to make a change. I'm just going to ask you to record everything you eat.
Right. Become accountable.
Because once you get them in the habit of doing that, and then you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because most people aren't, they don't count like all the little bitty bites during the day, you know.
That's what I found that as well, is you don't count. Well, I had a handful of cashews.
Right.
A handful of cashews is like
180
400 calories. You know?
Yeah. Well, it depends how big your hand is, but
well, I have big hands. And so, you know,
yeah, no, it adds up. And then,
adds
like,
up. Well, you
you
think
know, we're
it's
talking
nothing,
about
but it adds
coffee
up.
drinks too, you know, the beverage situation with a lot of
Yes.
people. There's a lot of these, you know, you might be drinking plain coffee, but you might be grabbing a latte or this and that. And then they're drinking these energy drinks and juice drinks. And I mean, my gosh, that's a lot.
I used to always drink regular Coke or Pepsi or whatever. And then I realized 180 calories per can.
Every time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I switched to Diet Coke, which a lot of people say isn't really any better, but it is 0 calories.
Right.
And so if you
keep in
make
Europe.
those little changes,
Yeah, I mean, it's a good place to start. But you're going into a topic that's really heated out there,
Yeah.
actually, about this whole...
and I'm sure I'm probably one of the least educated people on it.
Well, one of the biggest things right now they're talking about is artificial sweeteners very often have the same impact on your blood sugar
Yes.
as if you were drinking
Right.
regular
Yes.
sugar,
Right.
with the differential impact of a cancerous agent added to it.
Yeah, because the level of sweetness is so high, your body is taking it in as this is actually sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah.
And then it increases cravings and everything else as well. So.
Which causes fat retention.
Yeah. And I do notice, and I actually don't drink Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi anymore. I only drink black coffee.
I was a Diet Coke addict.
Yeah.
I was for years. That's all I would drink. I didn't even drink water.
Yeah. I drink
Years ago.
I drink a ton of water, and I only drink black coffee. Because
See, that's
I just
good.
want the caffeine,
Yeah.
but I
You
don't
need
want but I don't want the calories.
calories.
And you look at the Starbucks stuff. I mean,
Dude,
you're
it's
talking
crazy.
about 400 calories for a cup of whatever it is. You know.
When I worked at Starbucks in grad school, they would send me to other stores. And it was interesting, just around Atlanta, different stores were in a different part of town you could tell the culture of that part of town by what the drive-through looked like. And this one Starbucks I worked a Saturday night, and it was a little more rural, and I slung 40 or 50 of the big, I can't think of what it's called now, the one where it's basically an icy,
Like the
frappuccino?
venti
a frappuccino,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
venti frappuccinos. I cranked out 40 of those. And it wasn't until after that I sat down, like, how many calories is in one of these things? And that was like 1,800 to 2,500 calories in a single frappuccino. And people were just,
It's ridiculous.
Saturday night in that part of suburb Atlanta, frappuccinos.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the place reeked by the end of the shift of that spilled cream and sugar.
Yeah.
And it was all yuckied up on the counter, and
Definitely made you not want to have
ever
one.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
And look, I'm all for eating good food that, we can talk about sourcing.
Sure.
You know, sourcing of the food is a huge deal. Preparation of the food is a huge deal.
Oh, yeah.
And what I think, and I've seen a few things on this, is portion size.
Definitely.
I think people don't really have a good sense of portion size. And even if you look at, this is not an indictment of America, but maybe it is, U.S. portion sizes versus other countries of the same thing. The same thing.
All you got to do is travel internationally to see the difference.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Well, Italy, pasta serving sizes in Italy are, and here it's a massive bowl,
all
big
you
as
can
your
eat soup,
face.
salad, and breadsticks.
Yeah, hey, welcome to, can I say it?
Olive Garden.
Welcome to Olive Garden. I mean,
The McDonald's of Italian food.
right, exactly, yeah. Whereas you can just have that smaller portion and still enjoy it, and not have to have 5,000 pounds of pasta.
And to me, and one thing that I've tried to live by, although lately I haven't, because I haven't been able to exercise. And one, I'm too lazy to do it right now. Two, I'm too busy. Three, pandemic, whatever. But I know those are all excuses. I know they're all excuses.
That's another thing to make you record your activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But moderate, the word moderation.
Sure.
So, but in order to have moderation, you have to have awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Of what you're eating, how much you're eating,
right.
how much you're exercising, what type of exercise you're doing, and all of
yes.
that.
Well,
absolutely.
One of the things about America, we are the only nation in the world where the poor people get fat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Accessibility to
once
to
you
healthy
leave the
food,
United States, poor people are skinny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So talk a little bit about that, because I know.
Well, this is what I think. And
accessibility. Well, that's why you're here. Accessibility of healthy food.
Yeah. Well, you think about all the quote food deserts out there, right, where these people don't have access to good, healthy, nutritious food, and what they can afford is the $2 specials at McDonald's, the Taco Bell, and Jack in the Crack, and all that stuff. So they go and they can afford to feed their family at these places that are filled with zero nutrition.
Right.
Or if they go to the grocery store, all they have access to is all your prepackaged, highly just processed junk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're feeding their family on.
Yeah.
But I do feel like they can make better choices. They can purchase fresh ingredients, but it takes work to prepare those too, which I think they're not used to putting in that time.
Right. Yeah.
It takes time to wash a vegetable, chop a vegetable, cook a vegetable, where you can just drive through and be like, oh, give me 10 tacos and a fry.
Yeah.
$11.
Yeah, for the whole family.
Yeah, for the whole family. Yeah. Case in point, last night I said to my daughter, she had a really good math test. I said, okay, you get to pick dinner. She said, I want burgers. Okay, great. Where are we going to go to get burgers? And my wife was like, no. Have baked chicken, potatoes. I'm going to put it in the oven. But that takes time.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes time and effort. And she had to go get the stuff. And
absolutely.
Where we could have just gone to Sonic and grabbed some burgers.
Yeah.
And it would have, tasted great for the time being, but provided no real.
And I think that's a big part of it too, is the time. Like I see a lot of people who want to eat healthier, but then they're like, I got to prep this stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, food prep, like when you're in fitness competition, and of course, food prep, calorie counting, you do it for yourself, you do it for like a week at a time.
Sure.
And so that's its own challenge, but believe it or not, it's almost easier for food prep if you have a family to prep for. Mm-hmm. Because those vegetables are good for 3 days. Okay, you buy 3 days of vegetables for your family. Yeah. Now you've got a reason to be in a production mode.
Right.
But so many fitness people are single.
Yes. Yeah.
And they work a full-time job.
Yeah.
And they have other responsibilities, so it's challenging enough just to get their 1 or 2 workouts a day in. But
yeah, and that's what you get your meal preps. People usually do Sundays, right?
Yeah, Sunday meal prep.
Cook up a bunch of brown rice, cook up your ground turkey or whatnot. Have that for 3 or 4 days so you can reheat stuff. But then again, like let's say you're the person, and then you have a family who's not going to eat that. Then you got to prepare stuff,
twice,
other food. That's why I think it's so important to be able to find food that's healthy that everyone's going to enjoy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's a challenge in our house because there's me, my wife, and my daughter. And my daughter has severe food allergies, so she's extremely limited on what she can eat, which basically consists of raw turkey. I mean, plain turkey, plain chicken, some broccoli, or she'll only eat Whataburger fries. And so
I do love a good Whataburger fry.
Well, I do charge a daddy tax whenever I have to pick them up.
Yeah, of course. It's just whatever you can get out of the bag on the way home.
So,
they do have a new limited
Talking
edition.
about accountability.
They do have a new limited edition spicy ketchup.
I did try that. It was not as good as the regular spicy ketchup.
That's disappointing.
In fact, all it was it just tasted like they added a little bit of Tabasco in with ketchup. That's all it was. Whereas their true spicy ketchup it tastes like an original recipe of some sort.
Interesting.
Not that I'm a connoisseur.
I don't know.
Not that he's tried them in every space. Yeah, it's hard to food prep. I mean, my biggest problem with food prep is not having access to the food, thankfully, or anything like that. Is I can't stand eating the same thing every day.
No, exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that, just like you.
And if I had that mindset, if I could do that, it'd be a whole different story. I mean, my wife could do that.
Yes, and that's easy for me.
I crave that variety, and I get I really feel like whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I just can't. I understand how good it is for me, but I just can't do that.
No, food variety is crucial for me, and that, in fact, that's what burns out a lot of fitness athletes.
Yeah,
is the diet. They can't maintain it.
Yeah,
yeah.
They lose their mind.
And I think that's where it gets important, where you realize what is in the food that you should be eating. Like, how many grams of protein, fat, and carbs, et cetera, are in this meal, and how can I find foods that plug into that dynamic so that I have the variety, but I still stay on point.
Right.
Which I think there's a lot of apps out there that help you with that, like MyFitnessPal, et cetera, that you can use. But
MyFitnessPal.
Yeah, and that was, in fact,
have you used it?
It was either
really? It's so easy to use.
And
you can customize it.
Yeah, and it was I used either as a MyFitnessPal or another one when I was doing this calorie tracking, and literally you can like scan barcodes.
Yes, they've made it so easy.
A huge database, and you can enter stuff yourself as well. And it made it so easy. So like the most interesting part about it was for me was if I went to McDonald's and I had to put all that stuff in. I had
watch
to,
your little
I
graph
had to
go.
figure it out. But if I in the morning ate a half a grapefruit with some cottage cheese, that's super easy to figure out. I knew exactly what I was eating, and I could put it in the system. And there was some sort of indicator there of how difficult it was to put into the app, and whether or not that made sense to be something that I should, something that I should be eating.
And I find that a lot of my clients that I've had, they like recipes. I need a recipe, and I need a recipe for this. Recipes like that, they're harder to track in apps like that. And you get to realize like how it's just easier if you have a goal to keep it simple. Like have your protein, whatever that might be, have your carbohydrate, whatever that might be, have your vegetable source. It doesn't always need to be some extravagant recipe. You know what I mean? And then use whatever seasonings and whatnot that you enjoy.
So what do you think about these, what I'll call them meal prep services, but so there's different levels of them, right? There's HelloFresh, Freshly, like all these different things where some of them, like we've tried HelloFresh before, and they send you a box, and the box is for however many days, and there's a bunch of recipes, but you've got pre-portioned ingredients. Sometimes they're even, cut up to certain points, and you basically just concoct the thing and throw it in the oven or whatever.
Right.
And there's different levels of those. So what do you think about those kinds of things as...
I think if that's easier for you, if that's going to help a person start and make a change, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good start for a lot of people. It's not something I think is sustainable because, obviously it's not cheap.
Right. Well, the cost. Yeah. Again, we're talking about accessibility of healthy food, right? Yeah.
And you're talking about food that's been, not being, it's technically not fresh. You know what I mean? Like it's been harvested and then sent to HelloFresh, and then they've done it, and then they send it to you. I mean,
well, but I get. I mean, what? So then, what is? Then what does that mean? I mean, we could all go to a weekend farmers market.
Sure. Yeah. If you have the
accessibility for that.
Because farmers markets don't go to certain parts of town.
That's true.
They don't go. But so then, what do you call that? Is your produce at HEB? Fresh
Yeah, I mean that's going to be as fresh as you can hope for, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not against that at all.
Hopefully.
I'm just saying if you want to get really picky about it. But I do think like go back. I think it's a very good place to start for people, and if that's going to get somebody eating better and making better choices and being cognizant, then absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like you can get caught up in all of these like things, but I think you got to do what works best for you and what you enjoy, because that's what you're going to stick to.
Yeah, the sticking to itness.
Yeah,
that's a challenge.
That's the other thing. That's the problem with meal prep for me. I'm making all these excuses for myself.
Well, it's discipline.
It is discipline. It does
that's exactly
discipline.
what it is. It's exactly discipline.
And if discipline were easy, it'd be called easy.
Well,
instead, it's called discipline.
Right. And
Deep
everybody
thoughts from Frank Lee. Somebody write that down. What was it? Do it again.
Well, if
discipline were easy,
it wouldn't be called discipline.
It wouldn't be called discipline.
It would be called easy.
It would be called easy.
Got it.
We need that on a t-shirt.
We need that on I'm going to make a t-shirt with that. Thanks to my Cricut printer, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make one of those. I'm saying all these names because somebody might sponsor.
Yeah.
Cricut, HelloFresh, Freshly,
Yes.
Whataburger.
Whataburger.
Ooh, yeah.
I was a Whataburger brand ambassador for a little while.
Really?
Really?
Did you wear the outfit?
How did you get that?
Social media stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. In fact, I even went to our local Whataburger, and they had a new mushroom Swiss burger. They wanted me to get pictures, and I took Charlie with me, and I said to the counter, I said, "Hey, I'm a mushroom Swiss burger." I said, "But can you leave it apart so that I'm going to take a picture of it and explain what was going on?" They were very nice. I mean, they literally gave me the entire burger deconstructed with the sauce and the mushrooms and the cheese and the burger, and I put it all together, and it actually tasted really good. Like some mushroom Swiss burger, and it tasted really good.
Greatest Whataburger ever.
For a Whataburger, yeah. Now, was it healthy? No, of course it was not.
Yeah.
But I had no illusions of it being healthy. Nobody said, "Here's a mushroom Swiss burger. This is going to be really good for you."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. But I've got to have that variety.
Well, and then I'm a fan of Whataburger. Come to
Here
Texas,
we're having a health food discussion. We're talking
about Whataburger.
Well, and it's interesting about that when you're talking about like fresh.
Right.
I was listening to a local AM radio talk show, and that host wanted people to call in about high-paying jobs that people don't know about.
Oh, uh-huh.
And this gentleman, he was a steam plant inspector, and talked about how he didn't go to college. It was a trade, went through a program, and years later he's making a shocking amount of money to do it. And because he's looking at steam plants, these are steam plants that operate manufacturing facilities. And he said as a result of his job, he's a huge fan of Whataburger because he inspected the steam plant that processes Whataburger beef.
Huh.
And what impressed him most about it is at Whataburger, that hamburger in your bag, if you're in the state of Texas, was a living cow no more than 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
outside of Texas, no more than 5.
Interesting.
Because and to me that sounded shocking because I had no clue as to what the actual time was. I presumed it was much longer because they come in frozen.
Yeah.
So my presumption was that the process time was months ago.
Right.
But at Whataburger, it was 3 days. That was a living cow.
Yeah. So it's a little more.
Yeah, and this goes back to the sourcing of I've been around barbecue long enough to know that meat packing, meat production is such a difficult business.
Mm-hmm.
And beef prices, productions are so high, costs are so high.
How closely regulated is that, though?
Very, actually. When you talk about meat production in the U.S., I mean, there's really, really strict guidelines, USDA guidelines and other local guidelines and things like that.
And how tight are those inspectors on them as well?
Well, that's an interesting question. I learned a lot about this from the Texas A&M Meat Science Center.
Oh, that's right.
And they actually have the Rosenthal Meat Science Center, and it is a processing facility where they will bring in live cattle, they'll cull the cattle, they'll process the cattle down into steaks.
Right.
And they right there in the building. Yeah. They were talking about the whole inspection process, and it is very, like, for example, grading of a cow. We've all heard of choice, select, prime beef, and there's all these other things, but the graders are not inspectors, but when they grade, they cut between the 12th and 13th rib of the cow, and they literally have like 20 seconds to make a judgment call on what that piece of beef now, and that grading applies to the entire carcass.
So are they grading it based on the fat content that they see?
There's actually a very significant calculation, and it's one of the things that's taught in this meat science program. And they showed us it's like a graph. So when you cut there, you're cutting basically a ribeye, I think. I could be wrong. I can't remember. But you look at basically the piece of meat and the fat around it and the fat content within the meat. And there's this little grid that actually gets overlaid over it when you're studying this, when you're learning. And there's a calculation that goes along with that grid of this much fat, this much lean meat, this level of color, like all these different things like go into it. But these graders learn this stuff, but then in reality, they're grading these things. Now, that is not inspection. Every meat processing facility has an inspector on site all the time when they're processing. So that is a very stringent kind of regulated.
That's what I was expecting.
Now,
yeah, something like that.
whether every inspector is great and every rule is followed, I'm sure there's variability, but it's a very interesting process.
Well, now that they've added, so now let's get into the whole, grass-fed industry,
right?
And that's pretty new, right?
Right,
to the
and there's really no. I mean, you could say grass-fed, but what does that mean? When were they grass-fed? Were they grass-fed or were they grass-finished?
Exactly.
Or were they grain-finished for mass? And
yes.
And then what was the grain that they were finished on, or what was the grain that they were eating, and what was that? How was that sourced?
That's a big deal for me, and
yeah.
And you hear there's a lot of that what they call it, greenwashing going on, or they'll say something is grass-fed, and then like you said, like.
Well, I mean,
what do you know?
It's grass-fed, so does that mean it was out at a pasture for 3 days?
Yeah, so who's inspecting, who's...
Yeah, because the presumption is that. Yeah, the whole presumption is that the cow was raised on grass.
Right. Well, you get this picture, right, in your head of this black and white cow standing out in a field, munching on some nice green grass, and then it's turned into your burger.
Yeah.
And
the presumption is that the grass is of a specific type good for the cow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, is it grass that's... Well, that could go into.
Well, yeah. I mean, you get into such deep discussions about it. It's like, okay, it's grass fed. Okay, well, was that grass sprayed with pesticides? Were those organic pesticides or were those other pesticides?
GMO.
Really good for
yeah. That's where I was like, should we dip your toe in that water?
That term though, GMO, that term bugs me because you use it. A lot of people use it as some weird science is going on with chemicals and all this other stuff.
It's a genetically modified organism.
Right, but so is when you splice plants together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you take
when you graft a
rootstock, that is the same thing.
Oh.
So when you say genetically modified, it's got this connotation in a lot of people's eyes of, this
pejorative.
weird scientist is out somewhere doing something, but that's not really what it could be.
Yes.
I mean, it's considered pejorative, but
isn't all of that.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. That annoys me.
Yeah, and that discussion could go way deep.
It could.
but
the Illuminati might be after us.
But we can have those discussions as multiple podcasts.
Sure, yeah.
So
as a foodie group, we're into food.
So tell me, for my benefit and for the benefit of our 3 viewers, give me some of your best tools. And when I say tools, I mean like we mentioned MyFitnessPal and stuff like that. Best tools for folks who want to just make that start into, hey, I want to be a little healthier. I want to eat a little better. I want to exercise a little more.
Okay. I can make it really simple. So, number 1, start swapping out things like you did, for instance,
Coffee.
Yeah. Switch your coffee, switch your Coke to a different, preferably not Diet Coke,
water.
But switch to water, which water can be super boring, add citrus to your water, lemons, limes, oranges, grapefruit, mint.
I bought an entirely new refrigerator so I could do that.
Yeah.
It's got a pitcher built into it.
Really?
Yeah, really cool.
They make these?
And you open the door and it's got a pitcher and the pitcher has an infuser in it.
Really?
What? So
fancy. What brand is that?
It's Samsung. Hey, Samsung, you want to sponsor? And so you take the pitcher out and you pour the water out of it, then you put the empty pitcher back in and it refills itself.
That's cool.
But it's got an infuser. There is another fridge because I love sparkling water.
So do I.
Love it.
Sparkling water.
And it's got cold water, lukewarm water, and sparkling water.
Also has an O2.
It's got like a CO2 cartridge.
So, favorite sparkling water?
HEB.
HEB brand?
Uh-huh. But non-sweet. I don't like the sweetened kind.
No, you don't want the fake flavor.
I don't want any of the flavors.
I used to drink La Croix, but
Have you tried Gerald Steiner?
No.
Dude, game changer.
Gerald Steiner.
Where can I get it?
I buy it at Trader Joe's because it's a lot cheaper there. By the case.
Yeah.
But I think you can buy singles.
But is it sweetened or unsweetened?
No, it's just
sparkling water flavor.
It's sparkling mineral water. Actually has the highest content of minerals of any other mineral sparkling.
More than Topo Chico?
Way more than Topo Chico.
Dude, HEB and Topo Chico are my 2 favorites. But
I've got a picture right here. I took a picture the other day. I had a Topo Chico and the Gerald Steiner, and I can show you the difference. So it's got magnesium and calcium and sodium.
I'm going to Trader Joe's on the way home. Trader Joe's, you want to sponsor?
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, back to that. Like, swap those out.
Yeah.
Start making changes. You know, you know when you're eating your processed fries, etc. You know, instead maybe eat a potato, because the potato is a whole food. It's got more fiber, etc. You know, it's going to be a better choice.
Yeah.
It's more satisfying.
This one?
That's it. It's so good. It's so
On
good.
it.
We need a sponsor. But yeah, I mean, make out those swaps and start moving. You know, you say you don't have time for exercise. Take what I call exercise, you know, little diet breaks during the day. Get up, walk for 5 minutes. You can do that 3 or 4 times a day, and then you've done a 20-minute walk.
Yeah. The 10,000 steps a day thing was what I tried to do. When
that was hard during the past year.
Thankfully, I was doing it before that, and it was interesting. I worked downtown, and I would get downtown real early, and I would walk 1.5 miles away to get a coffee.
Good.
And then I would walk back. And so I'd sit there and have my coffee and walk back.
Yeah.
And I literally get like 6,000 steps just from that.
Was it in the tunnels or was it outside?
No, I tried to walk outside most of the time because I'd much rather be outside.
Yeah.
Plus I like being downtown and stuff. But
Sure.
I would walk from the Centerpoint building to a place called Honeymoon, which was a really cool coffee place.
Yeah.
And I used to go, back and forth every single morning. That's what I would do. And it made such a difference. And I was able to burn those calories, lose that weight without actually going to a gym, which was fantastic for me. But now I'm 45 and I can't do that anymore. So,
well, I think food is the first and foremost. Exercise is what I call extra credit. Is it important? Yeah. Absolutely. But food is where it starts. And, making sure that every meal you have has some protein, good carbohydrates, and healthy fats, and proper portions is really the easiest thing to do.
So on the exercise front, cardio or strength?
Strength, 100%.
It's
100%, because you're going to build that muscle. Your body has to repair itself, so you burn more calories when you're during repair. Then you've built the muscle and you burn more calories. Obviously, sitting here.
And I've yet to lift weights and not breathe like I'm running a marathon.
Right.
I mean,
if you're,
it's very cardio.
I had that problem walking across the house today.
Right.
I mean, I think cardio is, you definitely need to do some, but I think weight training, and like you said, if you're lifting heavy enough, it feels like a cardio session.
Because even if you're not, like for example, my situation, even when I was a fit athlete, I did not like running. I hated it.
I do too. 0.0.
Yeah. Even with like 9%, even at 9% body fat, my knees were killing me.
I've got to see these pictures. Frank talks a lot 9%. About this.
And now 100 pounds on top of that.
I'm gonna text Tammy and we're gonna find some pictures.
Oh, she still has my modeling pictures, and she actually holds up every now and then going, "Is this
so you did modeling?
I was modeling. I was an athlete.
Modeling,
I did the whole
athletic modeling.
No, I was paid to put on clothes and wear and take pictures.
This coming from the man who did not give his wife a waffle from yesterday when we were
still mad about that.
I know she is.
Look at you!
Holy moly!
That was only 5 years ago before I got in the auto industry.
Is that you on the left too?
No, it's me on the right.
We're gonna have to put this somehow on the podcast so that people can see this. He looks
awesome.
like a freaking model.
Yeah, I think he's a model.
And I thought I was kind of heavy
Frank,
then.
what the hell happened?
I ate and stopped working out. It's awful.
This year it stops though, right? This is it. See, you're a bad influence.
I've got to.
I know.
Just kidding.
I know.
Well, I've got to make up for. I mean, it's so funny. I got into the automotive industry, and all my friends who are in the automotive industry said, "Don't do it. Why would you do this to yourself? You don't have to do this." Well, I want to do this. I got this idea in my head. I want to do it better than anybody. And, next thing you know, 7 years have gone by and I'm exhausted, overweight, tired, grouchy. And, wow, this is the worst idea in the world.
That's what my wife said about the restaurant industry. She still says.
Yeah, it's, it's interesting when you see fit chefs.
I don't know many fit chefs. I only know one.
Well, you think about Austin.
I only know one.
Like,
Austin's how does he do it?
I don't know how he does. I guess he doesn't eat his food.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't.
He doesn't eat.
And that's some you want to talk about some discipline.
Oh yeah,
because he's been around nothing but amazing food.
Yeah,
all day.
I mean,
I hope I'm not giving anything away here, Austin. But I mean, the guy preps his food all the time, and I see him eating ground chicken, ground turkey, whatever. He's not eating.
He's not eating.
Obviously he's eating his food tested and make it created and whatever. But he's not sitting there like we are. I mean, I had a steak the other day that was that new goulet steak, and he sent it out, and it had like these fantastic like sunchokes underneath, and then like a béarnaise sauce on top. I'm like, he's not eating that.
Right. No, right.
We are, and that's why we look the way we are. We do. Yeah.
Well, and that goes back to discipline too. Like, you can eat that, right? But like maybe when you go visit his restaurant, you only eat this much and you take the rest home.
Yeah. I will say I did work at a couple doors down from Austin's restaurant and I was going there a lot, and I would go in and for lunch or whatever, and I would make a decision that was like a salad with like grilled shrimp on it, because I knew mentally grilled shrimp doesn't have that many calories,
right,
and the salad's good vegetables and light dressing and stuff like that. It wasn't like blue cheese all over it. That's what I would eat. That's an example of going in and making these smart choices.
Sure.
I was at a birthday dinner for a friend of mine, a foodie friend of mine, with a bunch of other foodie people, and we had a freaking prime rib board that was like, I mean, it had to have been
you talked about
1,000,000
that,
calories.
I remember you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was like lobster pot pie and prime rib and the big rib and like all this other stuff. And my mouth was watering. And
just the picture of the beef he brought out on that.
Yeah. So you're right. You can make those choices.
It was a Christmas turkey of beef.
Yeah. It was freaking.
Well, you talking about salads. This is what I tell people too. I'm like, soups, salads, scrambles, and shakes. 4 S's. If you do those things, you're getting vegetables, you're getting protein. It's easy. Yeah. You can throw a bunch of stuff together.
So New England clam chowder with bacon. Wedge salad with blue cheese and pork belly. What was the other one? Shakes. Root beer shakes. I love root beer shakes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, but let's say we switch those ingredients up just a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So we pull back.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
So since we're talking about food, and you're depressing me because I'm talking about. Well, because
I'm getting pretty bad. Fired up right now.
He is. He's going to be super healthy. Next time we come in here,
he's going to look just like
he's going to look like that.
I'm going to look better than that.
So we talked about your favorite restaurant right now.
Right.
So what is your favorite, and it could not be at that restaurant, dish right now?
Favorite dish right
What's
now?
What's the thing that you're looking for that you're eating right now?
You know what I've been eating a lot of, and you're going to laugh because you're going to be like, really? That's lame. I've been eating a lot of fennel.
I like fennel.
I've been roasting fennel like crazy, like with potatoes and onions and stuff. Like, I'm on a fennel kick.
Yeah, but it adds
putting it in my salads.
And of course, no calorie count as a result.
I love fennel.
It's got a really I'm not a huge fan of that licorice anise taste.
I hate anise.
Yeah, but fresh fennel.
But fresh fennel
is much different.
Yeah,
so much different. Yeah.
If you're listening, I'm not talking about fennel seeds. I'm talking about fresh fennel.
Fresh fennel, yeah.
Which is sweet when it's roasted.
Yes.
It has a sweetness about it, and then roasted it's crunchy in a salad. It's just... Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right?
Can I throw something in there?
Sure.
Vegetarian
diet. Vegetarian what?
Diet.
The people who do it, like... And I should say more of a vegan thing, but even then, people who don't eat meat, they are vegetarians.
How do you know if someone is a vegan or if they do CrossFit?
Vegan or CrossFit? Uh-huh. Oh, I know, because they'll be the first ones to tell you.
That's right. They'll tell you. Sorry.
That's great. No, it's true.
To all of my vegan friends. I don't have any vegan friends.
I will say...
I have vegetarian friends, but I don't have any vegan friends.
There's a couple that were... I think they were vegans. And they now own one of the largest bison ranches in Texas. Oh, really? They were athletes, endurance athletes. And the wife got really, really ill. Went to the doctor, they did a bunch of tests. They're like, you got to change your diet. You need to incorporate beef, pork, etc.
Oh, they were vegan because they're athletes.
Yes. Okay, anyway, their health was so,
But that's isn't that a moderation thing?
What's that?
I mean, vegetarianism, there's religious or morality implications to it, right? But there's also
for some people, right?
Yeah, for some people, but there's also just health choices, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some people who have there's this whole world of vegetarian bodybuilders.
Yeah,
yes, there is.
Right, and everybody can make whatever. This is America. Everybody can make whatever choice they want. But that shies away from moderation to me. Mm-hmm. It's there's a balance. People are omnivores for a reason because that's the stuff that we need to keep ourselves functioning. And, the amount of good fat that you take in is brain function. I mean,
Yes.
your brain has to function on that fat. That shies away from the moderation concept to me a little bit.
I mean, I think it's just,
well, I mean, there's also, like for example, there's a couple of prominent people in America right now, specifically the famous speaker Jordan Peterson and his daughter suffer from severe ailments that when they figured out it was somehow diet related and they went through the elimination process,
right.
they both wound up in a pure meat diet. Was the only thing they could eat that didn't cause them severe pain and ailment.
Yeah, and I think
on the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, and you're right. Like so for health reasons, etc., if that's what you need to do, then great. But I think it's become a very in vogue thing right now, where it's
do it because it's trendy.
It's trendy, not for everyone, but for some people. And so in that regard, I'm like,
I'm not a fan of anything that's trendy. What I am a fan of is what works.
right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting what works for some people.
For some people, is not what works for everybody.
Exactly. And that's where you have to, I tell people, you have to become your own detective. You've got to play around with your diet.
Your own detective.
You've got to be a diet detective.
Write that down, Frank.
You've got to, like you said, incorporate and eliminate and everything like that.
So with the proliferation of, this is kind of a weird tangent, but DNA tests and a bunch of other things.
I've seen those.
I've done a 23andMe test
that
incorporated both the genealogy part as well as the health part.
Oh, okay.
Super interesting because it tells you a whole bunch of information that is a function of your genetics.
Right.
I also took another test, and
I haven't done the one for blood type.
Everywell. There's one called Everywell.
Everywell.
And I think that's what it's called. I'll have to look it up. You do a blood sample, and they figure out what mix of vitamins.
I think it's Everly or something.
Something like that. Yeah. And it figures out like what your ideal like vitamin intake makeup should be, and if there's any weird complications. If fennel is a trigger, it's not I don't want to say trigger, but if fennel is a something that's going to cause you distress,
inflammation
or whatever. Really interesting. And then there's another company called Routine, Rootine, that will take the results from a 23andMe test or this Everlywell test and convert it into a multivitamin
for you.
That will, and it's neat. It's like those little, those little ice cream space dots. It's like those, but really, really tiny. These little bags. And it gives you a vitamin mix that's based on your DNA and your potential reactions for that. So it's really interesting that you can, because we're talking about everything is different for everybody.
Yes.
And, your daughter with allergic reactions or you can do that and have these tests that are specifically, with the technology exists to have these tests that are specifically geared towards you.
Yeah, and I think that technology keeps improving.
Yeah, We'll put some links in the YouTube channel for this, because really very cool stuff. And I do it just because it's really kind of neat technology. And I'm sure some privacy experts will say, oh, well, I don't freaking care.
FBI,
I really
your
don't
DNA.
Care. I'm not that interesting that anybody cares what I think.
Right.
You'll be plugged into a pod.
Exactly.
Plugged into a pod. Oh, that would be nice if I could be intravenously fed Whataburger fries.
No, you don't want them IV because then you can't taste them.
True.
No, that's no fun.
Okay, favorite ingredient right now, but I think you just said it.
It kind of goes along. Yeah. I would say fennel right now. I'm on a fennel kick. Yeah, I'm liking the fennel.
Now, with this fennel kick, have you found yourself going through different flavor phases in your own meal preps over time?
Sure, yeah. And I tend to eat very seasonally, I think, too.
Okay.
Like this cold, dark winter weather makes me crave, soups and chowders and stews and roasts and all that stuff. And then as soon as it gets warm, then I'm all about I'm going to go the fresh route. I want the salads and all that, I'm very seasonally affected by my diet changes with the seasons.
Last night my wife did a chicken tortilla soup.
Oh,
dude,
nice.
yeah.
You know who has my
good.
Ooh.
Oh,
you know who has my favorite?
That's good.
That's 6 bowls.
Chicken tortilla soup is Rita's Cantina.
Rita's
over on 249.
Over on 2, okay.
So good.
Yeah. What is what base is it? Is it like
it's a clear broth base.
Yeah.
It's not a corn base or anything. Yeah,
it's so good.
Look on his face.
He's going to get one after
Especially on a
this.
day like
He's
today.
dreaming about it.
Especially on a day like today. Okay. We're going to try our questionnaire.
Okay, let's go.
I did send it to you. So as you know, this is shamelessly ripped off from Inside the Actor Studio, if you've ever watched that.
I have not.
You and I are about the same age, so we should be able to, to say. So this was hosted by James Lipton.
Oh, yeah.
And where he asked actors a questionnaire, and the questionnaire he always said was ripped off from this other French TV show, which was hosted by Bernard Pivot, but was really came from Marcel Proust. This is his questionnaire. I have edited this questionnaire to be more appropriate for what we are doing. So here we go. And these are just off the top of your head. 1, what is your favorite food?
Favorite food, like ingredient, or can it be anything?
Favorite food.
Pizza.
Nice. What is your least favorite food?
Beets.
Really? I love beets.
Hate
pickled
beets.
and roasted.
Yeah, pickled.
And roasted.
They taste like mud.
Have you had them with goat cheese?
I have. Now, I will tell you this, and this goes back to Austin Simmons again. And he's going to be like, really?
Is that beet salad?
I liked that. I actually ate it, and I told him, I said, this is the only time I've ever eaten a beet.
Okay.
And I had them at Thomas Keller's restaurant, and I did not like them.
Okay, so you need to go, and I want to go again, so maybe we can all go. Doris Metropolitan.
Okay.
In Houston.
All right.
I went courtesy of Santiago Pelez from Santi. They took me down, and I had the most incredible freaking beet that was roasted and stuffed with goat cheese.
Okay.
Carved table side. It was like a carved table side beet. It was a giant, like the size of a softball.
That's funny.
Unfreaking believable.
How could it not be?
Doris Metropolitan.
It's because of goat cheese.
What chef inspires you most?
Oh, chef. That's a tough one. I'm gonna say right now, there's
Austin won't feel bad. Don't worry
a
about
chef. He's not local. Does it have to be local?
No.
Richard Bertonet, and he's a bread baking master. So I've been addicted to his YouTube channel lately, and I'm learning a lot from him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. What sound or noise do you love?
Sound or noise do I love? I love the sound of my dog sleeping. He makes a lot of little...
because they're quiet?
He's very quiet, and he makes all these little cute little sounds. He sounds like a little piglet. I can't explain it. Anyway, I know.
What sound or noise do you hate?
I can't stand to hear people chewing.
Me too.
Makes me, I can't. I can't with it. Stop. I can't. Makes me want to poke my eye out.
What's your favorite curse word?
The F word.
You can say it. It's okay.
I won't say it.
Food.
What?
Food.
The F word, food.
That one.
That was actually a Gordon Ramsay show. They called it the F word, and it was him in a kitchen
It's
with
bad.
other people. Yeah,
I really need to tame that beast.
Oh God, I'm terrible.
It's bad.
Imagine submitting or substituting the word food for the other F word.
We could try that.
That would be funny,
you.
wouldn't it?
Food.
Get out of the food and way.
Yeah.
That's what I do on the road, by the way.
Yeah, me too.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I wish I was a Radio City Rockette. I have a history at my dance.
Have you been training for that?
No, I'm 5'2", and
Yeah,
I'm
you have to
old.
be like a particular height, right?
over 5'8" or something.
But like they're all like
Because
within
they're all
the
the
height.
exact same height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could never be that. I would have. Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you not like to attempt?
Besides all of them.
I don't want to be a garbage man. That wouldn't be fun.
So I don't know why I knew you were going to say that.
No.
Because when I was a kid, well, probably 7 or 8, I was like, oh yeah, I want to ride the. Yeah, I didn't want to drive.
You wanted to ride on the back of the truck.
I wanted to ride back. Now I got a little bit of that because I was a firefighter for a little bit, so I got to ride.
Really?
It.
That's
But my
cool.
daughter, who is 2, has this book about garbage trucks and recycling. This little kid's book,
Right.
and she knows every Tuesday. That's when the garbage truck
That's
shows up, and she
cute.
loves it. Yeah, and our guy is real nice. He waves and
Aw.
stuff, and
Yeah.
our neighbor's kid. I just think kids like big equipment.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't like the smell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No.
That would get old.
Yeah, I don't smell.
And the last question: what would be in your last meal?
Oh, definitely a juicy steak, and some pasta, and
A carnivore to the end.
Oh yeah, definitely definitely steak and pasta and probably a salad. I love salad. And that's the truth. People think I'm weird, but I'm addicted to salad. My trainer used to tell me that I only craved salad because I was just dehydrated. And I was like, no, I crave salad because I like salad.
Yeah. You know, I am a salad fan. Like, one of my favorite places to go was Sweet Tomatoes. And it wasn't necessarily because of all the other stuff.
I was about to say, don't tell me it's because of that
Jason's Deli.
pudding bar.
Jason's Deli.
Load up on that place.
Like old school salad bars. Like, even the kinds that you would have at, like, Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
Like, I would remember the old sit-down Pizza Huts?
Sure, yeah.
I love those. And I love a good salad.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what's interesting to me is the best salad bar I've ever seen have always been in these meat restaurants.
Oh, yeah,
It's true.
Like the salad bar at Fogo de Chao. Why would I even bother?
Well, that's
eating
because
meat?
they want to stuff you. They want to stuff you with veggies that are cheaper.
So you won't eat as much meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're trying to save money.
So that's how they get you.
Yeah.
That's how they get you.
But it's a really good salad bar.
It is a really good salad bar. Because it has meat all over the salad bar.
Well, and I'll do that like if you go to a really nice buffet, like a really nice breakfast buffet, and they have all the salad stuff. You know, a lot of people skip that. I'm over there.
Yeah.
And my husband's like, what? There's roast beef and stuff. I'm like, I'll get there, but I got to start with my salad.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might find it interesting on TikTok. There's a woman who does this thing it's called Salads Every Day, I think. And it's literally just a shot from top to bottom of a salad bowl. And they just do different salads every day. And she does the dressing. It's a big wooden bowl.
Wow.
Does the dressing and then mixes all this up and then mixes it together and then pairs it with a wine.
Nice.
Ooh,
Gosh.
wine and salad. That's
she's like my
designed
best
for
friend.
women.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Andrea,
Check her out.
thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Got some great insight.
Nice to meet you
some great
finally
tools.
as well.
That's I think it's been very eye-opening. I think Frank is
Learned a
gonna
lot.
look a lot different next time we see him.
I can't wait.
Another
I'm
10
looking
He's gonna have
forward
he's
to
gonna have
it.
an 8-pack,
Right now it's more of a keg.
more of a keg,
Less
party
than a
party
You'll
keg.
lose it fast.
Party
Your body
keg.
remembers.
Yeah, it
Party
does.
keg.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for
Yeah.
being here, Andrea.
Thanks for having me.
Really
It was a lot of
appreciate
fun.
it. Thanks for seeing everybody. We'll see you next time on the Subtle Foodie Podcast.